Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Michaela and I'm going today to do with you a new pattern. It's a cover up as the summer is coming and I'm so excited. This is a very easy project, very beginner friendly. You can do everything with your normal sew machine. You don't need anything else. Of course, if you do have a cover stitch, I recommend you using the cover stitch. If not, you can do it with a zigzag stitch on your normal sew machine. And I'm going to show you practically what I have here. There are two parts cut the same. This little part, very important. This will be the kind of like the underarm, so the hole for the arm part. This part will be actually in front and it will be crossed like this. This will be the center in the back, sewn two parts together, right? Let me just place the fabric on top of each other like that. So normally the cover up final look will look crossed like this in front, and it's kind of like a cover up wrap. It's so easy to make. I'm so excited. And yeah, let's not keep talking and let's get started with the construction. So the first thing I'm going to do, actually I'm going to stitch the two halves together so we create one full part. And actually, before I'm forgetting, I have here a fold over elastic. If you've seen any of my other videos from before, you know that sometimes I'm using fold over elastic in order to use it for projects which require binding. Obviously, I do have a sewing machine, an industrial cover stitch with a binding attachment, but I want my videos to be quite friendly for all type of seamstresses, right? I would like that everybody can be able to do many of my patterns. Some of them, obviously, it's not possible to be done without a cover stitch machine, but in this case I chose to do a fold over elastic. So it's practically a 2 centimeters, and then when you fold it in, it has a centimeter. And I've got here a slider and a ring. This, I will be using them to make the arm adjustable, like the underarm adjustable, so you don't have to worry about, well, will it fit me or not? Yeah. And we can already get started. I've prepared already my obviously my sew machine, and actually to unify these two parts together, since they don't require any stretch, you can just do a simple straight stitch. But I will recommend you to use obviously a smaller stitch. I would go like somewhere, yeah, between 2 and 3, right? And I would definitely recommend you to have a thinner elastic since you're working with mesh. Of course, you can do this project in any other fabric. You can do it in lycra, you can do it in any other, I think even does not require much of elasticity, so you can go even for chiffon elastic, something light. I would definitely say something which will not be heavy. It's made as to be a beach cover up, so that's that. And I want to say I'm not hemming my mesh fabric. Why? Because mesh is not a type of a fabric which will unravel, although mesh can roll, right? So I will be definitely obviously doing a top stitching because I don't want it to roll. But here, for example, for this union, I'm not hemming the fabrics before, simply because there's no need. Okay, so that being said, I've stitched together the two parts, and now we have one full complete piece. I would definitely say, if you want, or if you can, right, to trim a little bit of the edge, right? I will be actually doing this. I will trim so I don't have like a big bulky fabric behind. Yes, I'm using my rotative cutter. It's a lifesaver. I use it quite a lot. I'm using very little now. My scissors fabric, right? So yeah, I prefer to actually use a rotative cutter, but obviously you need a base, and the base is required to be changed quite often. Okay, so we've got the parts already together, right? Let me just check. Yes, I've stitched them together in the right way. And now what we are going to do, we are going to top stitch the upper part practically and the lower part, right? So for the top stitch, you can actually use a triple zigzag stitch if you have. If you don't have, and for this part I would say, please pay attention when you're top stitching that you are obviously top stitching towards the inside, so that you have, let's call it, the wrong side of the fabric, since now we have the seam there. So for the top stitching, right, I would recommend you to use a triple zigzag stitch, as this is wider. The triple zigzag stitch is wider. I will be actually using a triple zigzag stitch, since I think it's quite nice. I do not remember the settings, but I will be trying it. Yeah, I think that would work. And this is quite not a fast step, right? So I would definitely recommend you to take your time. Actually, I would like to show you how it's looking. So you see I'm having here a triple zigzag stitch. I think it's quite cute. And definitely I'm being very careful not to stretch the fabric whatsoever, because I don't want the fabric to look like gathered or whatsoever. So I'm just literally guiding it, right? So I don't want to bore you with a very long video. I'm actually doing this stitch, and once I'm done with the two top stitches, I'm going to show you how I'm going to actually use the fold over elastic. Okay, so I've done the top stitching on the both sides, and actually for the second one I used my cover stitch machine, since I wanted to see how the stitch will be looking. And to be honest, my stitch was looking a little better with my cover stitch, although with my triple zigzag is neither it's neither a bad stitch, right? So now adding the fold over elastic, right? I have here what it would be. I would be using it actually with the good side, right? I think this is my good side. It's very difficult to say because it's a very I think it has the same side on both sides. So yes, this is my good side, and I am going to use here a normal zigzag stitch for this step, and I think I would have about 3.5 and 3.5 stitch length. And what I am going to do, I'm going to, I'm having it here with the upper part. This would be the upper part, and the curvy part will be all the lower part, right? So on the lower part, we will be using just a little bit of the fold over elastic, just enough to stitch the ring on it, and on the upper part I will be using it more. I actually will go ahead and I will cut it, and since it's adjustable, it's about 65 centimeters. So I already have it cut, right? And I will be starting it without the fabric, right? But with the edge where the fabric will come, right? I'm just going to measure it. So this little bit. So about here, I am going to add the fabric. So I'm going to do the zigzag stitch already without the fabric. And I perhaps could use a bigger stitch length. Let me see how it would work. Yes, much better. But perhaps since it's so big, you could also use perhaps the zigzag stitch. For the moment, I will leave my normal stitch. And now I am going to be preparing already to introduce the fabric. So I'm taking the edge and I'm placing it in, and I want to trim this little uneven bit here. All right, and I'm placing it in, and I'm holding it with my finger to make sure that I am top stitching it over. And before I'm closing, always I am checking obviously that my fabric is well inside and not slipping away whatsoever. Here we go. I've ruined recently my scissors, so I'm without a cutting scissors right now. So I'm actually cutting it with my okay. So look how beautiful it is looking. So the first things first, I'm going to show you just one side. Afterwards, you can do the same thing on the other side. Everything should be mirrored. So first things first, I'm going to add the ring, right? And since it's a fold of elastic, your sewing machine shall not have any issue with this, right? But in case it would, I recommend you doing perhaps a hand stitch, or you can use a hum jumper. This is also very useful. But also want to say, like, whenever you're stitching like thicker layers of fabric, I would definitely work with the tension of the thread, right? This can be sometimes helpful. And if you have tension of the foot, you can also use it. My sewing machine has a tension of the foot. This was very important for me. And now I'm taking one of the sliders and I'm just sliding it in once and over. All right, and I'm going to go through the ring like this, and now I'm going to kind of like bring some fabric up to make some space so it's easier, and I'm going to bring from underneath, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm keeping this parallel, right, that I'm not twisting it inside whatsoever. So I go once through and then once out. All right, and now I'm going to do a straight stitch over this little edge, and I will be trimming the excess fabric. Okay. Now I'm going to cut the excess fabric. And now you have everything ready to be used, obviously, as a sliding strap, which you can adjust it if you want it to be more tight or more loose or not. And that's about the end of the video. I will be doing it off camera, the other side, but of course I hope you enjoy it. It's a really beginners friendly video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to write me. I'll be more than happy to answer you. And yes, happy sewing.